Good afternoon and welcome to State Newsfile. I'm Megan Cobb. Kame Mariah will have a look at all the highlights later in the show. Kame, what can we expect?
Well, Megan, I'll have the State Trojans for you, both basketball and volleyball, NFL, NBA, soccer, and tennis later on.
Great, I'm looking forward to it. Gates Gorin is outside getting some vitamin D. Gates, how is it out there?
Megan, it's an absolutely gorgeous day out, and we've actually already hit our daytime high of 5 degrees, which is already a lot better than 1 year ago when we only had a high of -12. Wasn't that long ago when we had a recorded high of 14 back in 2015, but thankfully it's not 1916, where we had a recorded low of an incredible -40. I'll have the full forecast for you later on in the show. Megan?
Thanks, Gates. Now here's a look at today's top stories. An affordable housing project is getting a boost from the federal government. The feds are investing $16.6 million into the project that will turn an empty office building downtown into 82 affordable housing units. The building will be operated by Home Space Society and In From the Cold and will include shelter and support services, transitional housing, and childcare services. The provincial government is also kicking in $2 million, and the city had previously committed $5.5 million towards the project. The building is set to open by winter of this year. The homeless are unfortunately a large part of the downtown landscape, and that's led to concerns about safety. As Eric Bird reports, many people are considering getting out.
In an uptick in violence that is pushing some residents out. This seems to be the new normal. The pandemic has people desperate, and personal safety is on most people's brains. A lack of police presence is obvious, and the community has its concerns.
Well, I've been here 52 years. Seemed like, yeah, it is. Violent, picking up. Not like before. Now, violent is more. There's not very too many security around.
Former politician and lawyer Kent Hare has lived downtown most of his life. Hare is a quadriplegic. He became one in 1991 when he was shot in a drive-by shooting. Despite that, he says he has enjoyed living in the core and thinks many people are overreacting. Just last month, 2 homeless people were the victims of stabbing attacks that were believed to be hate-motivated, and police have laid charges. Hare says the problem these days is the transience of the area.
In Calgary, it's for everybody. And we have spent 50 to 60 years building up a downtown that was made for a 20th century oil and gas business, not a place that was friendly and easy to live in. So we spent 50 to 60 years getting here. It's going to take 20 years or so for us to recreate a neighborhood feel, to have more people living downtown who don't just come into downtown and leave.
Just last month, 2 homeless people were the victims of stabbing attacks that were believed to be hate-motivated, and police have laid charges. Hare says the problem these days is the transience of the area.
Concerns in downtown Calgary seem to be on the uptick, yet the safety level seems to be no problem down here. It is a very safe area, and it continues to be very friendly. For State Newsfile, I'm Eric Bird.
The Calgary Police Service is reviewing evidence from recent protests held at private homes. Since the start of the month, people opposed to COVID-19 public health measures have gathered outside 4 politicians' homes, including the mayor and the province's health minister. Police Chief Mark Newfile said if charges connecting to the protests are possible, they will be filed. Investigators are visiting locations, interviewing witnesses, and reviewing other evidence related to the protests. Many public figures have spoken out against the protests, including Premier Kenney, saying people have the right to protest, but it should not be done at a personal residence. Major changes to the way you fight a traffic ticket were scheduled to come into effect next month, but public pressure has put a stop to that, at least for now. Stacey Hine has been covering this story for us and joins us from the Calgary Court Centre downtown. Stacey, the PC government took a hit on this one.
Yes, Megan. We're a weekend away until traffic court was a thing of the past, and now the Alberta government is stepping back. The proposed changes would replace traffic court with an online process.
7 days doesn't sound like enough time, and to have to pay to appeal your ticket just doesn't seem just and fair for everyone.
The new process would have given drivers a period of 7 days to appeal a ticket online rather than going to traffic court to do it. Drivers were not happy and made their case known, loud and clear. The opposition wants the whole thing thrown out.
So I'm calling on the new Justice Minister, Sonia Savage, to scrap these fees, scrap the 7-day deadline, and halt the implementation of this unjust process.
So far, Savage has just announced a delay, but the process is still moving forward. That process includes a non-refundable fee of up to $150.
I think it's unfair because as a college student, I don't have that much money, and to be asked to pay an additional $150 on top of my ticket if I do choose to appeal it after the 7 days is unfair.
There's a lot of tickets that get handed out for dumb stuff, so I don't think we should have to be forced to pay to get that rectified.
The changes are part of Phase 2 of a Safer Roads plan, and the UCP says it would free up 10 prosecutors to spend time on criminal cases rather than traffic infractions.
Traffic court functions totally different than criminal court. They don't use the same prosecutors. They don't use provincial court judges. It's absolute nonsense.
Communicate the benefits of the program. Back to you, Megan.
Hein reporting from the Calgary Court Centre. Nurses in the province finally have a new collective bargaining agreement. 87% of nurses voted in favor of a 4-year deal that includes a 4.25% pay increase over the course of the contract. The new contract brings an end to the contentious and public negotiations with the provincial government. The UCP had been seeking wage cuts and other rollbacks from the province's nurses, arguing they were paid more than nurses in other parts of the country and the provincial budget needed the cuts. It's not the news anyone wants at this point of the pandemic, but researchers are saying there is a new Omicron subvariant of COVID-19. More than 10,000 cases of BA2 have been detected in 47 countries, including 51 in Canada. And yesterday, Alberta Health Services reported 3 cases in the province. AHS also reported over 1,400 people are in hospital with the virus. 109 of them are in intensive care. Just over 3,300 new cases were reported, but that number doesn't include cases that were identified through a rapid test, so health officials say that number is likely 10 times higher. The provincial positivity rate is sitting just shy of 38%. Premier Kenney and Dr. Hinshaw are providing today's live update. Alberta's top court is hearing an urgent appeal today against changes to the province's safe consumption program that are set to take effect on Monday. The new policy requires people using substances at the sites to show their personal health care number. Advocates driving the appeals say the change could cause harm to those who access the service, driving them away from controlled sites, leading them to an increase in overdoses. Earlier this month, a judge dismissed an injunction that would have delayed the new rules. A convoy of truckers is currently on its way to Ottawa to protest the federal government's cross-border vaccine mandate. Trucker shortages are already common, but this protest and the vaccine mandate means even fewer drivers are available to work. The Canadian Truckers Alliance reports around 10% of its drivers, roughly 26,000 people, aren't vaccinated. About 80% of the annual $648 billion in Canada-US trade is moved by truckers across the border, meaning local businesses like the Cedar Shop have had to adapt and find other ways to get their materials.
Yeah, with the recent shortage of the truck drivers, our one supplier has resorted to using rail cars, which they haven't done in 35 years, so this is a first for them, and it's a first for us.
The trucker protests have only added to other supply chain issues like the BC floods and lack of supply to ship. Prices for many goods have increased dramatically over recent months. A combination of supply chain problems, manufacturing, and people being broke is adding to a booming market for second-hand goods. As Rachel Weed reports, you may just find that hidden treasure and not break the bank at the thrift store.
Where you look, prices seem to be going up, from gassing up your car to the groceries in your fridge. Inflation has reached its highest level since 1982. With inflation rising in the past few months, we are all looking for ways to make sure we can be bougie on a budget.
Shopping in a thrift store is not as blowing to my wallet, so if I shop here, I get two shirts for like $20, besides from going to a big store, a big branded store, and getting 2 shirts or a hoodie for like $60.
Donating and buying at your local consignment and thrift stores brings a sense of community, which can bring in locals or those traveling to come see Calgary designers.
Oh, so everything in our store is owned by our consignor community. When it sells, they get a portion of the sell price. The majority of those consignors who really believe in what we believe in, and that's circular fashion and sustainable fashion.
Consigning unwanted clothes also helps the environment by reducing greenhouse gas and carbon emissions. An item bought used instead of new stops 17 pounds of carbon dioxide emissions from entering the atmosphere, so you can save a buck and save the planet too. For State Newsfile, I'm Rachel Weed.
Public health restrictions are closing the doors to more and more indoor activities, and Calgarians are looking for places to connect and gather. Up in Calgary's northwest, the community of Hawkwood is celebrating the opening of its all-ages outdoor recreational facility that's bringing out the kid in everyone. Ry Clark has the details.
The weather has been great for the last couple of weeks, and that's just in time for the opening of a new outdoor recreation facility in the northwest community of Hawkwood. The $1.8 million project was designed to create a space for people to connect and socialize when restrictions were creating more distance between neighbors.
Coming together, at least in some capacity as a community, it just helps people feel less alone. They are finally having that contact that they've missed during the pandemic, because even though with things like the internet, Skype, FaceTime, although those are really helpful.
Whether you're looking for some fun this time of year or excited about public projects coming to fruition, it's a great place to be where you can always be a kid.
It's pretty fun. I come here all the time with my buddies. We just try and start games, and sometimes we'll just hang out.
More need being put on social engagement. Projects that bring communities together offer more than just a place to gather.
There's really no substitute for in-person interaction and the positive effect that can have on mental health.
It's hoped this first of its kind facility will be both financially and environmentally sustainable, spurring other Calgary communities to follow in its footsteps, with crowds already filling up Hawkwood.
Like there's school and stuff right now, so there's not much people here. On the weekends, it's busy. So.
For State Newsfile, I'm Ry Clark.
Those are today's top stories. We'll have your full forecast after the break with Gates Warren. But first, Melissa Nolasco has a look at what's going on around Calgary this week.
Join the Chinese Cultural Center in celebrating the Lunar New Year as we welcome the Year of the Tiger. Enjoy this outdoor festive cheer together with a special lantern exhibit featuring the zodiac animals and some light displays. What could get better when doing yoga exercise? With puppies to further heal your mind. CB Rescue Foundation is bringing their lovely pups to this beginner fun class. Kids 12 and under are free, and don't forget to bring your yoga mat. Learn to make your own chocolate with the help of 10 Degrees Chocolate. See how the process of cocoa beans are roasted and turning it into a finished bar with flavors of your choice. Reserve your spot now. Head out this weekend as more than 30 small businesses and local artisans are coming together at the local goods market. Taking place at the village, shop for local items, hear some live music, and eat delicious treats. Come test your ability to survive a zombie apocalypse at this scavenger hunt game happening tomorrow downtown. You have an hour to collect food, supplies, and weapons from around the city that you'll need to survive.
Well, we saw how absolutely beautiful it was at the top of the show. Guess what? It's going to be sticking around all throughout the weekend. Let's see if the rest of the country is as lucky as we are. Taking a look first in BC, Vancouver's actually under a fog advisory at the moment, which is causing many parts of limited visibility in the province. In Alberta, a low-pressure system is coming down from the north, heading into the central provinces, which is why you're seeing how it's so cold there in Saskatchewan. On the east coast, much more of that cold weather is coming in through from the south. What we have to be paying attention to is the Maritimes. They are under a special weather treatment. So unfortunately, they can be expecting some intense snowstorms out there on the east coast. So we also have to make sure that we are paying attention to where it's a lot warmer. Let's take a look at our resorts. It's a beautiful day in Palm Springs, making for a perfect winter getaway. Look forward to a hot but cloudy day out in Barbados. Cancun has some light showers, while on the flip side, Honolulu is bright and sunny. Stateside, Disney World and Las Vegas are a bit cooler at 21 and 16 respectively. So like I said, we've actually already hit our daytime high of 5 degrees, and there's plenty of sunshine out right now. But that cool gust of wind is going to bring in a few scattered clouds, but don't fret, we're going to see plenty of clear skies later on tonight. Taking a look at what's going on across the province, a few different stories that we can see here. That cool pressure system in the northern part of the province is making it a little bit cool, bringing a little bit of snow to Grand Prairie and Fort Mac respectively. We are going to be experiencing a few more of that cool temperatures in the central part of the province. As you can see in Banff, if you're going to the mountains, make sure you bundle up just a little bit. I know it says minus 29 in Calgary right now, but trust me, it's a little bit warmer than that. Southern Alberta is experiencing a little bit more of a high pressure system, which is why you're seeing a bunch of different warm temperatures from Lethbridge up to the Hat. As we look to the 5-day forecast, tonight, again, just a very decent low here, but tomorrow and Saturday is going to look absolutely fantastic. We're going to see some wonderful mixes of sun and cloud. However, some of that cloud is going to be joining us on Sunday. Unfortunately, flurries on Monday. Cami Mariah has plenty of your sports highlights coming up after the break.
She is stronger. She's more confident. She's happier. Because of your compassion. Because of your support. Because of your care.
Come and learn the breaking world of broadcast news. Find your passion to investigate, write, shoot, edit, and deliver the stories of the day. SAIT's broadcast news program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in radio and television. Become the next great anchor, reporter, or personality using industry-standard technology alongside qualified instructors with years of experience. This is Broadcast News. Come and dare to be on air.
Welcome back to SAIT Newsfile. Cami Mariah joins us now with a look at the latest highlights. Cami, what's going on in the world of sports?
Well, Megan, get ready for Trojans, Flames, Raptors, some soccer and tennis for today. The SAIT Trojans women's basketball team has been one of the top teams in the league this season. At 7-2, they are the 3rd seed in the South Division. But there's been some big changes to the team recently, forcing the Trojans to adapt on the fly. Tommy Osborne has the details.
Losing your top scorer is never a good thing, but that's what the Trojans have to deal with as they prepare for the home stretch before the playoffs. Brooke Baker was leading the team with more than 21 points per game, but her vaccination status and personal issues resulted in her stepping away 3 games ago. While this is a big blow, the Trojans welcome back Anir Wall, who spent the last semester with U of C.
Honestly, it doesn't feel like I left because I was here 2 years ago. It feels like I just came back home. It's a great feeling. I'm having fun, and it just feels great, honestly.
Since her return, Wall has quickly established herself as a force to be reckoned with, averaging more than 19 points in the 3 games she's played and a 32-point night last Friday. Head coach Bir Parmar is impressed with Wall's leadership and production in just a short time with the team.
She's got some leadership there as well, and she's doing a lot of really good things for us. And just with a couple of games and a few practices under her belt, she's really shown a lot.
The second half of the season looks to be a challenge for the Trojans as they face a second-seeded St. Mary University Lightning 3 times, and their season finale is against the top-seeded Lethbridge College Kodiaks. They'll have to prove that they belong in the championship conversation. The challenge is real, but Wall and the Trojans are ready to step up to the occasion.
My mindset actually is, these girls aren't better than you, so just go show them they're not better than you. And that's what I do, honestly.
The next couple of weeks will show just how good the Trojans really are. With championship aspirations, Wall and the team hope to string together some big wins during the final stretch. For SAIT Newsfile, I'm Tommy Osborne.
Today's game between the SAIT Trojans men's volleyball team and Lethbridge College has been postponed. The team has played and won 2 games this month against Medicine Hat College and is looking forward to the remaining 5 games of the season. The team has already clinched a playoff spot and is hoping for a championship this year. The St. Trojans is currently third in the overall ACAC standings next to Lethbridge College and Red Deer Polytechnic. They will face Red Deer on Thursday, February 3rd, and Lethbridge College on Saturday, February 5th. The Calgary Flames continue to be red hot as they scorched the Columbus Blue Jackets last night, 6-0. The team fired a team record 62 shots on goal, the most by a visiting team in a regular season game. The Flames held on to their lead in the second period with a goal from Andriy Mangiapane, who got the puck past goalie Elvis Merzlinkins and made the score 2-0. Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk made a remarkable play together with only 5.2 seconds remaining in the second period to bring the Flames 3-0. The Flames' incredible offense, coupled with Markstrom's shutout, made it extremely hard for the Blue Jackets to score a goal. Tkachuk, Backlund, and Mangiapane added goals for the Flames, who have won 3 of 4. Boone Jenner was -4 on the night, while Jacob Voracek had a team-high 5 shots for the Blue Jackets. The Toronto Raptors suffered their 6th loss of the last 9 games. Former Raptor DeMar DeRozan powers Bulls to beat the Raptors 111-105. Gary Trent Jr. makes an incredible pass to Zach LaVine and sets him up for a layup shot in the third quarter. The Raptors seem to have turned the tables around as Pascal Siakam successfully baskets a driving layup, and Trent Jr. gets called for an offensive foul, who then slams the ball in front of the ref's face during the remaining 10 seconds of the quarter. The Raptors lessened the Bulls' lead to 82-91 at the end of the third quarter. Trent Jr. scored most of the baskets for the Raptors at 32 points, with OG Anunoby following at 23 points. DeRozan and LaVine paved the way for the Bulls with 29 and 23 points. Nikola Vucevic also scored 17 points and grabbed a total of 15 rebounds. The Raptors will be at Miami on Saturday, and the Bulls will be at San Antonio on Friday. The Canadian men's soccer team is back in action on the road to qualifying for the first World Cup since 1986. Canada starts a 3-game set tonight against Honduras. Canada is sitting first in the CONCACAF qualifier after a painful defeat back in 2012 against Honduras. The team is looking to turn the tides against the struggling Honduras squad, who is sitting last in the qualifiers. Star player Alphonso Davies is not playing in the next 3 games because of COVID. Stephen Eustachio is also recovering from COVID, but is hopeful to play the next game on Sunday against the second-place American team. Canada and Honduras tied 1-1 back in September, and the Canadians collected 15 points since, while the Honduras only 2 points. The world's #1, Ashley Barty, downs opponent Madison Keys in just 62 minutes. The 25-year-old is through to the finals after a 6-1, 6-3 victory. Keys tied to send different shots to put pressure on Barty, but ultimately fails as the Australian had powerful forehand and backhand slides. Keys got her career best winning streak of 10 after a difficult 2021 when her rank dropped outside top 50. Barty is on top of her game and is the first Australian woman to reach the final in Melbourne since 1980. Barty will be up against first-time Grand Slam finalist Danielle Collins this coming Saturday. And that's a look at sports.
It's nice to have sports back on this campus, hey? Like,
Right.
nice that we could be able to go to it eventually.
Yeah, it's been awfully a long time before they got back together on campus too.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get to a game soon.
Yeah.
After the break, Melissa Nolasco will have a look at the latest in the world of entertainment. Stay with us.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Do you think you know someone that is struggling with suicide? The Center for Suicide Prevention provides workshops and other resources of information to help you assist someone at risk of suicide. The Center for Suicide Prevention. We educate for life.
Come and learn the fast-paced world of television production. Find your passion to write, shoot, edit, and direct news, sports, and dramatic productions. With industry-standard technology and the best instructors in the business, SAIT's television production program teaches you everything you need to know for a career in broadcasting. This is television production. Come and dare to be on air.
The entertainment world is buzzing today after Spotify removed Neil Young off the platform. 2 Broadway stars return home to Calgary performing a musical theater classic. Melissa Nolasco gives us what's making noise in the showbiz industry.
Well, it is surely buzzing for the entertainment scene today, Megan. Having performed in operas across the country, baritone Andrew Love is back home for the Calgary Opera's The Merry Widow. Taking his first step back into Broadway back in 2007, Love has always been emotional every time he returns to the city. This time, he's singing the role of Count Danilo in the production of the operetta. Love shared it's been a while doing a piece of songs with dialogue in between. The Merry Widow will perform 3 shows this coming week starting on Saturday, and this also marks a homecoming for Calgary-born soprano Aviva Fortunata singing the lead role. Residents in Ottawa will have a chance to live in Ryan Reynolds' way. The city of Ottawa is naming a new street after the Canadian actor to recognize his contributions to the city. Deadpool star Ryan Reynolds grew up in Vanier most of his childhood and has made several donations during the early pandemic like the Ottawa Food Bank and Distress Center. He even became Bruce the intern twinning for the Ottawa Public Health. The mayor wanted to honor him and shared Reynolds was very excited, flattered, and even choked up when he heard the idea. Being the numerous guy he is, Reynolds shared he'd changed his daughter's name to Ottawa as a deal. Spotify will be removing Neil Young's music off the streaming service after the singer-songwriter shared his disgust being the same platform as Joe Rogan. Young has asked his record label to strip his music off of Spotify after Rogan has been spreading false information about COVID vaccine in its recent podcast, stirring controversy with his views on pandemic and government mandates. Spotify said in a statement they regret seeing Neil go, but they always work on balancing safety for listeners and freedom for creators. The backstabbing begins as CBS revealed the 11 celebrities who will be shaking up the Big Brother house next week. The 3rd season, celebrity edition of Big Brother is truly a star-studded season as they bring together an Olympic medalist, an Emmy-winning TV personality, a former boy band heartthrob, a Saturday Night Live alum, and many more to win the $250,000 grand prize. The red carpet will rolling on February 2 for the season premiere. And that's a look at the latest on the entertainment news. Back to you, Megan.
That's a major lineup there for Big Brother. We'll see what these stars have to bring us. A local feline rescue site cares for cats before they are adopted out. St. Newsfile's Grace Shapka visited the Meow Foundation to find out how.
We've all seen stray cats in our neighborhoods, some belonging to homes and others who haven't found one yet. In Northeast Calgary, the Meow Foundation wants to help those cats find their forever home.
We take in over 800 cats a year. It's been between 800 and 900 the last few years. And what we're best known for is our rescue and adoption program.
But how are the rescued cats cared for? We talked with intake manager Jenna McFarland to learn more.
We look at the cats, we check to see if they have any visible forms of ID, so that would be something like a tattoo or a collar, or whether that cat has been spayed or neutered. That would give us an indication that somebody at some point cared for this cat. We want to make sure that we're not taking in cats that belong to people and then adopting them out. We also vaccinate and deworm cats as soon as they come in typically. And then once they move in here, we get their veterinary appointments made for them. So we're looking for spay and neuter. We're looking to put a microchip into that cat so that we can identify it down the road or other people can identify it. And then we also do quite a bit of dental work. So we check to make sure their mouths are okay, or if there's any other big health issues coming up, we try and address all those before those cats are adopted out.
There are many health issues in new cats the team looks for, but in Alberta there are only a few concerns.
The most common stuff that we see is ear mites, so a lot of transmissible little arachnids that live inside ears.
For St. Newsfile, I'm Grace Shapka.
Wouldn't it be cute to visit the Meow Foundation?
Totally. Definitely.
So many fun cuddles.
Yep.
That's it for our show. We'll see you next week on St. Newsfile.